How did you deal with postpartum with 3 kids? Was it different for each of them? Did it get better? Did it get easier?
I don't think I realized the whole postpartum thing till after my first, and it was actually after the second that I realized, whoa, I know I had some postpartum depression.
Having mom friends in a community really helped me mentally, emotionally. I think even like being a mom, because there's so many questions you ask and you ask your mom friends, which is why I wanted to start this podcast. I wanted, if somebody doesn't have a community, you have this podcast to kind of come back to because we're your mom friends. Hi mama, you're doing amazing. I know the challenges of navigating through postpartum life, and I'm here to be your village in a world where the village is often missing. My name is Elo, and I'm the host of the New Mom in Town, the Postpartum podcast. Today's guest is Leandra, a super mom of 3 and a postpartum nurse. She'll let us in on some secrets on how to maintain a healthy relationship after children. Thank you so much for being here today, Leandra. I'm so happy that you're here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Kind of excited to do this. A little nervous, but we'll be fine. Yeah.
Don't be. You have 3 kids. I think you got this.
Maybe. We'll see. You know, that's nerve-wracking too, but yeah, we'll be good. We'll figure it out, right? Little by little.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for. So speaking of 3 kids, how did you deal with postpartum with 3 kids? Was it different for each of them? Did it get better? Did it get easier? Asking for a friend.
Okay. So it's really hard to kind of explain from my perspective. I don't think I realized the whole postpartum thing till after my first, and it was actually after the second that I realized, whoa, I know I had some postpartum depression with my first after that pregnancy, because my delivery, and I never, when you have the first, you don't really have a second to compare, nor a third. But once I had that second, it was like the difference to compare them both and to see that difference from the first to the second was like, okay, there was a little bit of a traumatic birth experience. And I think just from everything going on and kind of reflecting back on how I was reacting and how I felt, I realized, I had a little postpartum depression. So at the time, throughout that, about a year or so before getting pregnant again, I didn't realize that I was going through those hormonal shifts. I was, experiencing all that mentally and not realizing how different I was. But at the time, I felt normal. I felt like, oh, I got this. I was in nursing school, so it was a little bit harder. And I kind of thought, this is normal because I'm going through nursing school. I'm stressed out. I'm dealing with my life, this pregnancy, a new life coming into my husband and I's, life, and then nursing school. So kind of just everything was a lot. But yeah, so I guess my second pregnancy, I realized, yes, I had some postpartum depression. And the second pregnancy was a lot better. I didn't notice too much. I felt like my hormonal shifts were a lot better. I wasn't emotionally up and down too bad, but I still did have some, and I think that's normal. It's like more maybe blues, a little depression, but at least knowing and being more aware, because at that point, my second pregnancy, I was already a nurse and I was already in postpartum, and I already learned about this. I was like, okay, yeah, I could identify it now. I can speak to it and I can get the help that I need. So it made a big difference just being able to, I guess, have that knowledge and then have a community of moms to, hey, I need help, and to reach out to. So that actually changed a lot, from that first to the second. My third probably was the easiest as far as getting back to feeling normal, which I had explained to you, that I don't feel, okay, so it's kind of, it's hard to explain, I think, but when you have your, getting back, I want to get my mom bod back, or I want to get my body back from before, right? I don't see it that way anymore. I see it more of a, okay, this is where we are, and we're going to take this new body and this new person, this new self, and we're going to get better, and we're just going to grow with it, because you can't be that person you were before. After having a child, I feel like we're born again in a sense, and you have this new responsibility. Your body's no longer the same. and mentally you've changed because you have brought life into this world where you're going to now care for that and become this other person, you know? So I feel like it's just relearning ourselves as well as this new life with our babies. Yeah. So
I mean, I think since the day that you told me that at our last mom walk, I kind of like sat on it and I was like letting it marinate in my head a little bit. I do feel it made me feel better mentally about my body and like my own body shaming that I'm doing. I'm not like 100% better yet, you know, but I haven't like accepted it 100%. But it's something like it kind of made me feel like, oh wow, like she's right. Like I did that, you know, like I should be okay with what I have right now and I'm healthy. So that's true. Question, how long after you guys got married or you were together did you have your first baby?
So my husband and I have been together since we were, I think, like 18 or 19. We were just friends. We had met 17, 18, whatever on there. So I guess that was like high school. I didn't grow up out here, so we met through my sister and mutual friends. At the time, oddly enough, he was dating my best friend. So I was not interested in this person at all. Let's just get that straight. I was not. I was like, we're just gonna be friends, you know, cool. And we were for a while. We were just friends. But I feel like when you have a best friend, eventually things can, you know, transition and grow, and that love and that relationship grew to something more. So he's basically the one person that I've ever been with. We did have a little bit of a break, but I think that was just him becoming a man, getting his career going, because he became a sheriff, and that was just a really hard time. I was in nursing school, so that was another two stressors, right? And then coming together was so hard to kind of like find our middle ground and kind of work on the relationship. So we took a little bit of a pause, but yeah, so we've been together since we were like 19 or 17.
Wow. So then when you did have a baby, or babies now, how in the beginning, especially, I'm sure, I mean, I'm speaking from experience and I know other moms too, it's so hard kind of finding, besides yourself, but like your relationship and like your partner and being the way that you guys used to be. What did you do? What did you guys do? How did you guys navigate through that?
Well, okay. I think it's so hard. I mean, as a mom, I feel like your children, they're number one. Unfortunately, that's what you think of. You wake up at night, you're sleeping, you wake up thinking like, where's the baby? Is the baby okay? You know, that's your initial thought. But I always thought about it. My parents are still together, and I always just kept thinking, my husband, no matter what he is, my priority. We, at the end of the day, we have to be together in the long run, right? We want to be a good example of a relationship and love and parents and a wife and husband to our children. So I think he does a better job of it, to be honest, especially when it comes to our more like intimate time. Like that is something he puts a priority on. As a female, I don't. And that's like, honest, like we're just, we're different, right? And that's okay. But we find a happy medium. So our children, we got them into their own cribs or beds pretty soon. My first one didn't like to co-sleep, so that was okay. My second one, same thing. He was like, bye, I want my own space. My third one, it was a little harder, but he loves his own space now. And now we have our second one coming back and forth. But we prioritize each other and we make sure that we have that, you know, time alone. We try not to have the kids in the bed because we need our space. We need that time together. It's so important. We do date nights when we can. It's not that easy, but we do try. So, and we have support here. When we move, might be different, but you know, yeah, we're little by little. So just prioritizing each other and really trying to understand, am I giving you what you need? And we did read that, what is it, the Love Languages book? I thought that was so important because when we were going through our rocky phase, we did read that and it was like, how can we make this work? How can we be better for each other? So it takes work. I saw a therapist for a little bit. He didn't, but that's okay. I felt like I needed it. And then just really trying to understand each other and coming together. But I feel like getting your kids, having that space for you guys is so important. And it's hard, but you have to. If you're going to make that, you have to think your husband, your partner is your number one. That's who you're going to be with in the long run. So you have to prioritize them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know it's hard to hear as a woman, as a new mom, as a mom, but that's very true. That's I like the way you dealt with it and what you just said right now. Because
Yeah.
it's true. Like the first thing you think about, I felt like at first I was like, how can I share my love? Like I'm so confused with anybody, not just my partner, but with anybody. It's like I just care and like will die and will kill whatever I need to do for this kid. You know, that's all I was thinking about. And it's kind of like coming to terms with the fact that yeah, it's not back to reality. Like that's good, you can have that, but you don't have to have major mom guilt. I think that's what it was too. I would have mom guilt if I didn't care or think about my baby for that moment. And I would like share my love with somebody else, my partner, my mom, or whatever. That's interesting.
I mean, I still think we're okay. We're allowed to feel that mom guilt because you care. You're a caring person. You love your child. So we're going to have that mom guilt, but it's also just finding the balance of, or at least knowing and being aware, hey, I have this mom guilt. I'm still going to spend my time with my children, but I'm also going to take time for my husband because at the end of the day, you neglect them, what happens? They're not happy. They go elsewhere. If hopefully that doesn't happen, but
Right.
still, there's always that. Well, they have needs. Every person has a need, and as humans, we need to fulfill those needs. And how are you going to get that done, right?
Right.
So just being there to understand and I guess respond to those needs is important. And I feel like little by little, you kind of figure it out. And it's a journey. We're all different. We're all going to have that, every relationship's different. So it looks a little different for everybody. But being aware of it and then talking about it, having that open communication, and I think the effort, I think that's just like
The
what's
effort
important.
part. It's the effort part, I think, because if you didn't realize it, that you need to make an effort, then you wouldn't sit there and read a book about the 5 languages of the love languages and things like that. So that's very true. That's awesome. I love that. So what is the age difference between all your kids?
Okay, so I'm terrible at this. I don't really know. I just know that my older one is 6, the middle one is 4, and then the youngest one just turned 2. They all turned a year older this year, and it's I know, right? June, July, September. So very close. I should do the math, but I'm terrible at math. I hate math. So I just like, okay, yeah, it's about 2 years. About 2 years, we'll say
About
that.
2 years.
Yeah. Less,
Wow.
but yeah.
That's good. And do you want more?
If I could have more, yes, I would. My husband thinks I'm insane for wanting more because I never wanted children. He's just like, what happened to you? But yes, I think I would love to. We're not having more at all. We're done.
Okay.
But I totally would because I'd want a girl.
That's right, because you have 3 boys.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you're the only girl in this huge house now.
Yes, exactly. That would be great. But it's fine. Who knows? We've kind of talked of adoption, so you never know. But for now, I'm happy. My kids are still young. I need to learn, I think, to also kind of be on my own again, because even though I've always done my own thing, I've always been going to my workouts, I spend time with my friends, I do mom walk, I do things for me to fulfill my needs and my heart. But I think I need to kind of just be not pregnant for a few years at least. And so, well, I'm not going to be pregnant again, but yes, to not be pregnant, to not have to take care of another, just my 4 is good because obviously the 3 and then husband, got to take care of all.
That is true. And then I feel a lot of people talk about postpartum all the time about, when they're newborns and then infants and then toddlers. Nobody talks about when they go into 1st grade, 2nd, 3rd grade. Like there's so much that goes into needing to make sure that your baby is safe, or your child is safe. They're doing the right homework. They're, with the world and just different. What are they into? Are they into sports? And then now you have 3 boys. Imagine putting all 3 boys through different sports.
Yeah.
You're about to be so busy, so I don't even think you would have time to get pregnant.
No, I've thought about that. That's what I think as we kind of get into the school. My first one just started kinder, and it's just been a little sad, it's like your little heart's out there and it's just going and interacting with other children. You never know, you want to protect them, but you're also like, you have to go do your own thing. So yes, letting them go on their own has been a little difficult, but I'm very independent. So I'm like, this is life. This is what it is, just stay busy. And we cry a little bit on our own, and then we're like, okay, bye, we're good. Yeah. So it's been up and down, but I feel like having kids it kind of, for me, it made me more emotional and more, I don't know, caring, patient, so many positive things. So I think that is what makes me want more children, because I see that growth in my person. But I think it's just kind of coming back to okay, I need to take care of everything else, go back to me and then my husband and kind of grow from there, especially because you can't just start neglecting these three, right? These three kids that I've had and already, I kind of got to focus on them and learn, and we'll get to know who they are, because they're going to be people as well, and I want to invest in them. Yeah.
And they're going to have girlfriends one day.
No, we're not talking about that. Nope,
but I love that. I know, that's what I say too. I'm like, what wedding?
Yeah, right? You're like, no, what? Girlfriends? No, lock the door, not coming over, it's fine.
I'm the only girl in your life. I'm just kidding. But what you just said right now, I want to touch base on that, how you are way more patient now and more emotional. It's so true, because I still think I am, but to everybody else, including my partner, he always tells me, he's like, you were such a badass, what happened to you? Why are you such a little sissy now? I'm like, I'm not, I'm mama bear, leave me alone. It's different. So it's normal then, because I felt like, am I losing my badassness? What's going on? But it's not.
No. I that's funny that you actually say this, because I feel the same. I felt the same way, as having a child, and kind of unexpectedly, my first, I was like, whoa, who am I? What am I doing? How am I going to navigate this? Who am I going to turn into? But you just, again, you're still you're obviously yourself, but you're growing as a person. And now you have this new, your mother, your first motherhood, or your new self, and then you're rediscovering that, and you kind of just get to make who you want to be, and create that person and become better. So yeah, I feel like I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I always just think of it as a rebirth in a sense.
I love that, yeah. Because I expected, or I was envisioning, me giving birth is also a new person. I'm becoming a new person. I'm being rebirthed as well. So that's true. I love that. So speaking of community and getting things together and feeling good about yourself and doing things for yourself, I know that you started a huge community out here in Santa Clarita Valley. How did you start doing that? What made you want to be the leader that you are in this community?
I don't know. I don't even see it as a leader. I see it as a friend. I love making connections. And it came from being a postpartum nurse, because I was educating my patients, saying, get out there and go for a walk, get those endorphins going. You want to be happy. You need the sunlight, anything to help you mentally. And that's where that came from, that want or that need. I didn't see it out here. I didn't grow up out here. I mean, we moved out here in 2004, I think-ish, around there. I didn't go to school out here. So all my friends were in LA. They were further away. They weren't driving, so I was on my own. I did meet people later on through my sisters, but I didn't have that community. I don't have those friends that I grew up with that we can always just hang out and do all the things or have kids together. So I just felt like I know how it feels to be alone. I don't want other moms to feel like that. And I was like, let's just do it. It might just be myself there. It might just be me, and at this time I had a co-host. We might just be us two. It's fine. Let's just do it. Let's see what happens. I'd rather try and maybe fail than live with a regret. So we went ahead. We tried, and it ended up being amazing. I met so many people out here. I feel like because I talk so much, it was a great thing. I tried it, like I said, I just want to be a friend to people. I want people to feel welcome and to show up. And if it helps them through that, postpartum period, then hey, we've all won and we've all made this connection. So, and it's fun. I feel like that was the biggest thing. It was fun. It is fun. We're still doing it. Yeah.
We're still doing it. I mean, I met you that way. I met you through the mom walk, and I'm so happy that I did. I definitely needed a community, and ever since then, I feel so much better because I was able to, like you said, make friends, and mom friends are everything to me right now. I love my best friends. I love my sister. But they're not moms. And I'm the first out of the friend group to become a mom. So it's like you feel the disconnect. You kind of feel it's weird. It's like this weird loneliness that you feel, but it's normal because they don't know what we're going through as a mom. And side note, I can't wait for them to go through it so I can be there for them. But having mom friends in a community really, really helped me mentally, emotionally. I think even like being a mom, because there's so many questions you ask and you ask your mom friends, which is why I wanted to start this podcast. I wanted, if somebody doesn't have a community, you have this podcast to kind of come back to because we're your mom friends.
I love that. Actually, like, I mean, you had asked me and I was like, whoa, that's great because you're getting out there. And yes, if someone doesn't, I don't know where, maybe in like the tumbleweeds, they don't have friends and you're like, well, or actually going through postpartum, I mean, you sometimes go through those moments where you're like, I don't want to go out in public. I don't want anybody to see me. And being able to kind of maybe just listen to somebody that's saying, hey, I felt that way too. It gives you that reminder. It's not just me. I am not crazy. I am not going through, something totally abnormal. It's an abnormal for myself, but let's get out of this. Let's find somebody. Let's find a community because there are other mom walks out there. There's tons of them across the United States. It's definitely something that's growing. And I feel like with social media, it makes it easier to connect and find them. So you coming and sharing this information and doing this podcast, it's going to give another connection to somebody to maybe be inspired to make one. And I think that's amazing. I would never have ever thought of doing something like this. So I was kind of like, okay, well, yeah, it gives me so much anxiety, but let's do it because if we can talk about something that resonates with someone and makes them feel like I want to get out in the community and it helps them mentally, then let's do it. So.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that so much. And you are a postpartum nurse, so you're even more like you're perfect to be here and be this wonderful guest and mom to help me, honestly, and so many other moms right now.
Oh my God, you're amazing.
You're amazing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. And it's been, I felt like your energy when I first met you, I'm like, oh, we're definitely going to get along. So it was a great thing. And then just you coming and like, the few times I feel like you've made such an impact on the people that you've talked to and befriended. Obviously, even for myself, and I'm definitely sad that I'm leaving because we, won't be able to hang out really, but I do hope that we, kind of like stay in touch. And then when I'm here, I will definitely try to hang out.
We have to stay in touch because if you want me to take over the mom walks, I need your help and I need your guidance and I need your connections that you have out here. And you're going to be with us all the time in spirit, and I'll be texting you videos and pictures. You did this.
Well, okay. So just to check on that, to touch on that. Yes, I do want you to do this because I feel like you are an easy person to talk to. You have that inviting energy, and I think people need that. If you are someone that's going through the postpartum period and you're like, I'm so nervous. What do I say? How do I navigate this? You're the person's like, hey, how are you? Let's be friends. Let's walk together and talk, and that's what some people need. Mm-hmm. If I had that when I was, I think, going through my first postpartum period, I would have felt so much more comfortable. I'm the first daughter, so I didn't have my sisters to rely on, just maybe my mom, but she's older and she's doing her own thing. So it's kind of like, who do you talk to, Yeah.
I agree. I love that. Thank you for that. 2 questions. What would you tell your first 2-week postpartum self? Let's go with your first one.
I don't know. It's going to be okay. Like, you'll make it through this. Yeah.
Okay, I love that because it's true. It does get easier. And what piece of, you've given so much great advice already, but one thing that you live by or you would love to give like an advice to new parents or new mom or new mom to be, what would you want to tell her?
As a mom, and this is whether it's a first, second, third, multiple, whatever, we question everything we do because you want to make the best decision. This is your child. You want to make, you're looking into food, dyes, clothing, all of these things. And it's a lot of information to digest and then to act on. So I feel like just no matter what, realizing that you are the perfect parent for that child is so important, and to trust yourself because you will make whatever decision you make is going to work for your family, and that is the best decision that can be made. If you need education, you need the resources to figure out and get to that end, decision, ask the questions, reach out to the specialists or the professionals. But at the end of the day, trust your gut and do your due diligence by actually like looking into things. Don't just take your doctor's word for it, or your pediatrician or that nurse or that doctor, whatever. Look into it a little bit more further, to ask friends, and then kind of like, okay, talk to your spouse and make your decision. But just know you're that perfect parent for that child.
I love that. That was awesome. Thank you so much. This was amazing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time again.
Oh,
You've
no,
been amazing.
I appreciate yours.
And
thank you. I'm so sad you're leaving.
I am too. I think when I'm on that plane, I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah.
But I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Aww. Thank you so much for joining me today and being part of this conversation. If you found this episode helpful or inspiring, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Your support truly helps other mamas find us. And of course, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and become part of our village so you never miss a new episode. We're all in this together. Until next time, mamas, take care and bye for now.